Hey guys, welcome to week 3 of KIN 557. This is Dr. Waite checking in with you. Here's just a quick overview of our weekly content. If you'll follow along on Blackboard, you'll see on the overview section it says this week you are reading and viewing the chapter 12 and chapter 14 content from your text. Both of them are dealing with exercise prescription, so we're getting more into prescribing exercise for special populations, which is what this course is all about. Chapter 12 is looking at exercise prescriptions specifically for managing weight, so weight management. And then chapter 14 is looking at flexibility and low back function and what exercises can help improve flexibility and decrease lower back pain and issues with the lower back. Ironically, in the last probably decade, the number one medical complaint has actually been lower back pain. And a lot of it has to do with inflexibility. I probably have mentioned this before in other weekly posts, but I'll say it again. Most lower back pain is due to tight muscles, and not always tight muscles in the back. Usually it stems from tight hamstrings and tight leg muscles, tight glutes, and that has to do with us sitting a lot and not being active. So the more we sit, the tighter our hamstrings and glutes get, which then pulls on the pelvic girdle, which then the pelvic girdle twists. So imagine your hips tilting anteriorly, and then that puts pressure on the lower back. And that's what causes most pain that's complained in the medical field. So this week is really like honing in on that information and looking at, what can we do for clients and even for ourselves to increase flexibility and reduce lower back pain. Okay. 2 activities to complete. The first one is your quiz. Take note that quiz 3 is due by Sunday. You have a quiz basically every week, so just make sure that you're getting that done by the end of the week. Your one activity or assignment for the week is another reflection. So reflection 2. You'll remember reflection 1 from week 1. This one is on a case study. This is the first case study that you get to do. So it gives you a scenario, and you can read it on Blackboard. The scenario is basically this 68-year-old man who is active, and he's involved in jogging and tennis, but he's noticed that his flexibility has decreased. And so your job is basically to assess, based off his age and his activity levels and so forth, what would be a good flexibility program. So you're going to prescribe an exercise program, flexibility program for this individual. You're going to create a video on it just like you've done before. It says in the video that you must demonstrate setup, execution, duration, and frequency for the stretches that you're involving in your program. Okay, so just follow the guidelines that are provided on that assignment. It's pretty straightforward. It says that your initial post needs to be about 350 to 500 words, along with your video link. Okay, so upload your video to YouTube and put the URL in your post. Your post is due by Thursday, so make sure you get this done early in the week, and then you have to respond to two classmates and engage in their conversation by Sunday. Okay, so you should know the routine on that by now. If you cite anything, make sure you include your references. You should be including at least one reference. There's one given to you on flexibility, which is cited at the bottom. And of course, you can use your textbook as well as a resource. Okay. That's basically it for the week. I'm going to go over the chapter content real quick with you that you'll be reading through. The first one is chapter 12, exercise prescription for weight management. The key things here, go ahead and pull up your PowerPoint right now and follow along. The first thing we're going to outline is the issue with obesity. And obesity is an ongoing epidemic in America, and unfortunately it's only gotten worse. Right now, I would say during this pandemic, obesity is at an all-time high. Um, I mean, I would say the majority of us have gained a little bit of weight, whether it's from the stress, just not being able to go outside for a while. I know for me this summer when the fires hit, I live in Fresno and the fires were so bad I couldn't go outside and run. The gyms were shut down. I probably put on at least 5 pounds during that month of August, which wasn't fun. But for some people who are less active, they put on even more weight, combined with stress and so forth. So it's an issue. So the chapter starts off talking about the issue with obesity, addressing some of those hot topics. Then it looks at what are our caloric needs, daily caloric needs, addresses lifestyle change. What can we do to combat obesity just through living a more active lifestyle, eating a healthier diet, and so forth. Talks about the ACSM's recommendations for weight control, how much exercise to get, 150 minutes minimum per week of moderate intensity exercise, behavioral modifications, eating disorders. So the behavioral modifications will talk about food intake, which is a big issue. And then lastly, the process of gaining weight. Okay, so that's basically chapter 12 in a nutshell. Chapter 14 is looking at flexibility and lower back. And so specifically, it's going to look at prescribing exercise for that. This is a really important chapter to look at before you start working on your reflection assignment this week, because the information from this chapter is going to help you to design an exercise program for increasing flexibility. So it's going to start off looking at lumbar spine, spinal curvature, talk about the function and the structure of the spine, give you a little bit more insight on why back pain occurs because of inflexibility, and the mechanics of the spine and the hip joint, kind of looking at how does the hip impact the spine, and then it's going to end with looking at core muscles. How does the core stability and flexibility and function play a role on our impact on lower back pain and getting full range of motion in the spine and the hip joints. And then looking at flexibility itself, how do we increase flexibility? So the chapter will end looking at recommendations for stretching, which is really what you should be honing in on and relating to in your reflection assignment. Okay. So get started on that right away. And if you have questions about it, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be looking for your guys' posts, through Thursday. Make sure you get that posted by Thursday, and I'll be giving some feedback on there as well. Okay, so don't forget, quiz at the end of the week. Make sure you take that as well. All right, that's all I have for you. Enjoy the week. Bye.